We're about a month into Season 3 of the finals, and it hasn't been a very exciting season so far. Let's talk about it. Season 3 introduces a new World Tour tournament mode, a new map called Kyoto 1568, 3 new weapons, 1 new gadget for the light class, and 1 new special ability for the heavy class that I'm not at all excited for. In the new World Tour mode, you climb the ranks and cash out on a specific map rotation. Over the next few weeks, the maps will be rotated out, and the top 5 players will be on the front page for the mode. So good luck and have fun with that. I'm glad they're still giving the cash out game mode some value, as the regular rank mode is now terminal, which is their version of Search and Destroy. As far as the new map goes, I'm not a fan of it at all. I do enjoy the aesthetics of the buildings, but they don't play all that well. The indoor areas are very claustrophobic and difficult to run around without getting caught up on a rail or some other object. The remaining buildings don't have a lot of verticality to them, and the surrounding areas are fairly flat and low, which makes it prime real estate for rooftop campers. There are some sections on the edge of the map where the ground does go uphill, but it doesn't affect most of the map flow. In my opinion, what makes a good map for the finals are large indoor areas with a lot of verticality and ways to allow the dynamic destruction to change important sections of the map. With Kyoto, it feels like none of that is here. It is a very simple and underwhelming map that's good to look at, but frankly not one that I care to play on. It's a disappointing addition to the game's short list of maps. I would have loved to see a version of Tokyo instead. Whether that would be current day, 1980s or 90s, or a futuristic Tokyo, just a more urban and a more dynamic setting than what Kyoto brings. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like the video and consider subscribing to help support the channel. Moving on to the weapons, the light class gets access to a recurve bow, which I feel is a little redundant when we already have a reliable sniper rifle and a hard-hitting semi-auto LH1 battle rifle. For me, the recurve bow is a novelty weapon that you may use just to flex, but it's not going to shift the meta. Right now, I'm not too upset at it, as the light class has some great weapons to choose from. So, having a harder to use weapon like this bow is not a big deal. For the medium class, we get access to dual blades. The big feature to them is allowing the user to block bullets when in a defensive stance. Apparently, someone at Embark Studio has been playing a lot of Overwatch and wants to add some of those abilities to this game. It is a melee weapon, I'm not fond of it, and the medium class doesn't really have that many gadgets to work with that allows them to be crazy effective with melee weapons. Let me know what you feel about the dual blades and if you've been able to pull anything off with them. It can be a scary combination if you have a light class player who's using gadgets like the teleport grenades. I can see getting a lot of value with the dual blades if you have some good team play to go with it. The heavy class gets access to a spear, which is another melee weapon, which is supposed to be more nimble than the sledgehammer but deals less damage. I don't play heavy class, so I don't have any real input on this. From what I've seen in my time playing, it doesn't seem like the heavy players are using it all that often. The new gadget for the light class is called a thermal bore, which is a long-range breach charge of sorts. I'm sure it has its uses and it may make for some alternative setups, but it isn't going to be as versatile or as aggressive of a gadget as to what the light class already has access to. Again, for now, I'm fine with the light class getting less powerful gear, as they're kind of stacked for great offensive weapons and gear. And the new special ability for the heavy class is the Winch Claw. If you played against or as Roadhog from Overwatch, you know exactly what this ability is. It grabs the enemy player and pulls them towards you. It also applies a short stun effect on the enemy, which can give you a window of opportunity to press the delete button on the enemy. I personally don't like this ability or any other similar ability. Unfortunately, it's in the game now, so Embark has to either nerf it to death or outright remove this ability. And as of recently, they did nerf the damage of it from 15 damage to 5, but that still leaves plenty of room for players to be 1 or 2 shotted when they get hooked by this ability. It may not be a big deal at the end of the day for some players, but if I get hit with this once, that is it. I'm switching over to light class sniper and playing from a distance for the rest of the match. I know that's the whole point of the hook shot, but I detest this kind of ability in anything that's supposed to be a competitive shooter. Throw out a gadget that slows me down, I'm fine with that. But don't put gadgets or abilities in the game that removes all of my mobility and instantly punishes me. Compare that to any other special ability in this game, and it's the one that can almost guarantee you a kill at any time. Yes, there is some skill required to land the hook, but again, I have an issue with the ability itself, and not so much how easy or how hard it is to use. It just should not be in the game. For ranked, the game mode has been swapped out from cash out to terminal, which is their 1 life, minimal health regen, search and destroy game mode. There has been a lot of vocal backlash about cash out being put on the back burner and reserved for the new World Tour mode, but since I don't play ranked all the time, I don't have a strong opinion about it. However, I do agree that terminal does feel a little half-baked and forced into the game. I'm glad the game mode exists, but it doesn't play as well as it should. So let's go ahead and discuss the big issue with the finals and what I hope they do to make the game feel more balanced and switch up the meta. One of the main problems with the finals is gadget spam. If you play the 5v5 game mode power shift, it can be a very aggravating experience if you're playing for the objective. If a team is made up of 2 heavy and 2 medium class players using shields and turrets on the objective, it's pretty much game over. It can also be worse in terminal since throwable grenades and gadgets are 1 use only and don't regenerate mid-round, which makes destroying shields and other defensive gadgets very difficult. You would think that gives the defensive players the advantage, but it's actually the other way around. Since there are 2 terminals on the map, the defending players will have no clue which one the attackers are going for, and they're so far apart that the defending team won't have time to throw defensive gadgets on both terminals. It's simply a guessing game and reacting to the push from the attacking team. So once the attacking team takes over a terminal, they'll have time to throw up all their defenses and flip the script. This also is not a ranked only problem. You will run into the scenario in unranked terminal mode as well. Gadgets do play a crucial role in the finals and how the game plays out. However, there is an over-reliance on certain gadgets and having as many of the same gadget as possible. The APS turret for the medium class that the players have, for example, does not expire on its own. It can stay active and destroy up to 3 grenades, which will destroy it, or until someone actually shoots it out, or disrupts it with a glitch grenade or barrel. It's great that there are counters for the APS turret, but it also means players have to swap out a gadget or find another angle and risk destroying the turret. Even with the limited use the APS has, having 2 or 3 up at the same time is still a problem, and it's even more of a problem in Power Shift as it has a short cooldown time. For a single life mode like Terminal, it's more important to have gadget variety than have 4 players using the same 2 gadgets because they're near impossible to deal with when you're stuck with a few gadgets that do not regenerate mid-match. And good luck finding the few glitch barrels scattered across the map in time to disrupt the gadgets and disable the terminal. It's great that Terminal does have some preset rules that apply only to that game mode, such as limited health regen, but they also should look into limiting what gadgets can be equipped. I know it's not going to be an easy thing to apply, and having players locked out of a gadget they want to run because someone else is using it, but it's really the only option we have to prevent defensive gadget spam in Terminal. I would try going a step further and doing this in Power Shift as well, just so there aren't 4 shields on the objective at any given time. And don't get me wrong, I know there are counterplays and there are glitch grenades that are there to help to disrupt most of that, but getting it to land in a way that the APS doesn't destroy it isn't always possible. In my opinion, for the finals, every gadget should help to either create space, control space, or destroy space, but it should never be so effective or have multiple of the same gadgets stacked on top of each other to make a near impenetrable fortress. It's not fun shooting down a shield to shoot down the APS, only for another shield to magically appear and another APS to be thrown down. Yes, this has happened. I've been on both sides of that fight and it's annoying. Every game is going to have its problems with game balance and it will never be perfect. I'm just looking to see the game transform into a different meta and one that allows more flexibility in gun skill than just throwing down defensive gadgets and sitting in corners. I do think Embark is very close to having that kind of balance and maybe we'll have better tools to work with next season. I really do enjoy playing the finals, but Season 3 has not been that great for me. With the new map being very one-dimensional in my opinion, and the new weapons and ability and gadgets don't really complement my playstyle. Season 2 on the other hand was a lot of fun, and I really did enjoy what we got there. Let's hope that Embark can continue to push forward and make a more interesting Season 4. In any case, these are my ideas as to what could be done to make the game more interesting, and hopefully they can apply rules to certain game modes. Let me know what you think about all this and where you think the final should go. Don't forget to like the video if you got this far, and consider subscribing to support the channel. Until then, I am Mr. Rain, and I will see you next time.